We're very excited about it. Very excited about it. We are all in.
We got jokes, y'all. Hello, Marvelites, and welcome to New York Comic Con. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining us for Marvel Next Big Thing, kicking off New York Comic Con 2024 with us. We are excited. We got some fun stuff to talk about, some fun stuff to share with you, some fun stuff to give you before the end of the show. We'll get into all of that later, but let's see who's on the panel with us. We've got Tom Brevoort, Executive Editor and Conductor of X.
Absolutely X. I'm the conductor of Absolute X. Absolutely all the X. Hello.
I'm all in on that, Tom.
All right.
We've got Stephanie Phillips, writer of Phoenix and Spider-Girl, Ghost Spider. We've got Chris Condon, writer of Classified.
Secret writer.
Maybe we'll be talking about.
Absolutely baffling.
I'm just happy to be here.
We've got Mr. Ryan North, writer of Fantastic Four. I love that dashing headshot. Yeah.
It's not an official headshot. It's just I just look like that all the time.
We got C.B. Cebulski, our editor-in-chief.
Thank y'all for coming. It's going to be a good one today.
And hi, I'm Ryan. I do things for Marvel, and I'm very excited for this and for seeing all of you. It's been a year since we did New York Comic Con. It's weird how that works. And I'm so glad to be back. Yeah, got it. All right, we got a lot of stuff to show you, so let's dive into things with the Ultimate Universe. First, everyone reading Ultimate Universe comics? Very wonderful. CB, can we talk a little bit about the Ultimate Universe and sort of, like your thought behind bringing Ultimate stuff back over the last year?
Yeah, sure. It was, it's been, where are we now? October, so it's been 10 months because we are going in real time, which is something that the Ultimate Universe, one of the differences from the original ones. I had the pleasure of my first job at Marvel was working on the Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Spider-Man with Bendis and Ultimates with Mark Miller, and it always holds a special place, I think, not mine, but all of our hearts, I think. And then, we were in a creative retreat at some point, and, doing something with another universe came up. And, Jonathan Hickman had the idea for some of the Spider-Man stuff, and built the universe around that. Everyone reading Ultimate Spider-Man? All right. And, we've slowly been growing the line. Peach Momoko's X-Men, Ultimate X-Men, Brian Edward Hill and Stefano Caselli on Ultimate Black Panther, and then Denny Camp and Juan Frigeri on the Ultimates has been a real breakout for us. It's been great. So, and we will continue to maybe expand the line a little. We're trying to keep it small. We're not going all in. We want to keep it focused. We understand, that people have budgets when they go to the show. Want them to experiment. Hopefully, we'll get all 4 of the books because the universe is interconnected, each with its own unique voices. But there are some new things coming.
There are, but one of the cool things I wanted to, you mentioned it, CD, was that we started with Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was 10 months ago. And then you look at these titles, and we're developing them, but it's every month is real time, and so you look at what is coming in January, and that is a year of Ultimate stories and new characters and new versions of characters. You've got the Guardians there, you've got Black Panther, you've got Kraven, you've got the X characters and these interpretations. So it's really cool, it's really fun for I think all of us as fans, but as the creators are bringing these characters to life and really taking new swings with characters we love. And speaking of new swings, characters we love, let's show you something brand new with Ultimate Wolverine. And we can unclassify Chris's role in all of this. Chris, what can you tell us about Ultimate Wolverine?
Well, it is an absolute pleasure to write Wolverine because I grew up dressing up as Wolverine in the yellow and blue suit, and I had the claws. I was all in on Wolverine. So when Will Moss called me and asked me if I wanted to take on a title like Ultimate Wolverine, I jumped at the chance, and I immediately had the idea what I wanted to do with it, and that's what we're doing with it, which is essentially I'm bringing what my essence of storytelling, what I do with That Texas Blood and with the Enfield Gang Massacre with Jacob Phillips, and bringing that into the Marvel Universe, the Ultimate Universe with Wolverine, and really, looking back at what has come before, but also looking into the future and then bringing something new to Wolverine, and all that you can expect is that it's going to be pretty violent, and I hope pretty good. So.
Yeah, we've got the beautiful character design here by Alessandro Capuccio, which is just super cool. I think, we think of these Ultimate versions and how they differ and how they're similar, but this one, just from the start, there's a lot right there. Is there anything you can share, even just from this character design, Chris, of like the costume look, that mask?
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, Alessandro is doing a fantastic job on the book. I mean, just seeing the pages come in, I'm just floored with it. But yeah, for that costume in particular, I mean, you might know that there's a red star running across them, and you might wonder why. Well, you might also have an idea about who's running the Eurasian Republic if you've been reading the Ultimate books. So that's a little hint for you. But yeah, if you notice that mask, there's a muzzle on him. You might wonder why. It's because he's wild. So watch out for Wolverine.
Yeah, we've got these great variant covers by Gil Melnikov and Steve Scroce. One of the details I love in the Steve piece in particular are the claw marks on Colossus's head. It's gnarly. It's really cool. And so, you mentioned that region of the Ultimate Universe, that region of the world, and what's going on there. We've got even more stuff here that we can share with you. There's even a prelude that's coming in the Ultimate Universe 1 year in December. I like that we call it a spoiler variant, and it's him in the just walking through the snow.
Yeah, it's a reference to the Marvel Comics Presents covers from Up and X.
But we actually have some pages that we want to share with you. No photos, don't put these online. I know you will. These are some great pages. Chris, can you walk us through some of these moments here?
Yeah, so we're really getting a look at how Wolverine came to be in the Ultimate Universe, and that's we're just walking you through that in the quick prologue to our series in the Ultimate Universe issue.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's violent. This gives a sense of that, but then we get into this, that the middle page there and that middle panel. I looked at that the other day when I first looked at this presentation. I was like, oh damn, it's brutal. I like it.
I mean, you gotta be, right?
Yeah,
it's Wolverine.
It is Wolverine. You see, when you're thinking about Ultimate versions of characters and you're seeing all this come in, how. Do you have a specific thought in mind, or do you, when you get like Chris's pitch and Chris's idea for Ultimate Wolverine, you just like let it breathe and let it go?
No, some of the Ultimate characters stay very faithful to kind of the 616 originals, and other ones veer widely different. And we're always open to the creators coming up with their own interpretations of that. And I do have to say though, when Will came down to me and said, "Hey, Chris has this idea," and he told me the idea for Wolverine, it did give me pause because it is pretty radically different in some ways that you're going to find out about soon enough. But and then after I gave it a second of thought, I was like, wow, that is freaking awesome. Like, how did no one ever come up with that before? And not to tease you, but you're gonna have to wait and see. But there's some hints of some of the stuff here, and it's just great. Alessandro came over from Moon Knight. I know a lot of people read Moon Knight, I'm assuming, did some great stuff over there, and he's really killed it on this book with Chris. So. And one thing I forgot to mention, Marco Cacchetto, who is the other, of course, creative half of Ultimate Spider-Man. I mentioned Jonathan, but just want to give a shout out to Marco for the amazing work he's been doing on Ultimate Spider-Man as well. So.
Yes. Really great work. Now, what's super fun, now that we've revealed Ultimate Wolverine, we're also happy to say that Chris and Alessandro will be joining Denis and Marco today for the Ultimate Universe signing. That's 1:45 to 2:45 at our booth, so definitely go check that out. There's going to be some cool stuff. I believe posters that you can get signed, and then, it'll be really neat. All right, let's, Tom, are you okay if we go to some X-Men stuff?
Yeah, you can do some X-Men stuff.
Fantastic. Let's start with Phoenix, because we have Stephanie here to talk about Phoenix. Who's reading the Phoenix book right now? That's what you say about
You have to clap loud for the X-Men books because I really need the affirmation.
What's going on in Phoenix right now? I know she's dealing with this big meaty boy over here.
Big meaty boy, yeah. That would be Pericus, the Dark God. So we have been teasing since issue 1 when she's dealing with a prison inside the black hole that Pericus escapes, and he's kind of been hinting at trying to get the gang of the Dark Gods back together. So while Phoenix is playing this role of like, I know what it means to be a hero in space, there's this other big cosmic threat that's kind of been developing in her periphery, and where we're at now, I think issue 4 just came out. You can kind of see where the Pericus thread starts to come back, and we've been watching him kind of doing this evil stuff that she hasn't been quite aware of, and now it's coming to a head. And Phoenix is going to have to deal with that head on. We've also teased Thanos is a part of that and will be coming up very soon. So
Possibly in the very next slide.
Possibly.
Oh, I wasn't even looking. You nailed it.
Yeah. Well, so we have this.
This is great.
Yeah, these beautiful pages. I love the designs that we have for our cosmic entities right now. Like, it just feels so alien and weird and big, which I think, we lean into with these pages in particular.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing we've gotten to do is kind of started with Jean's concept of a hero, and it comes very much from the rest of the X-Men and what it means to be an Earth hero, and there's a bad guy doing a bad thing and I have to go punch him, and then all these other kind of cosmic forces start to come in, like maternity you can see here, and kind of question, is that really the best that Phoenix can do? You are creation. What does that mean now that you are here in space? Do we need to reevaluate your role as a hero? So yeah, I'm really excited we're getting to that kind of big climactic moment.
Yeah.
And the artwork, like you said, it's really gorgeous.
Just gorgeous. And then you mentioned a little bit of Thanos, and we have a debut here for the cover to issue number 7. I love that it's like a before you touch me, guess what happened, boy? Yeah, what do we got going on with her versus Thanos?
Yeah, so Thanos is going to be brought in by Pericus for something I won't quite fully reveal. I'll let you read it. But Pericus kind of becomes a part of this plan and kind of swept up Thanos does, swept up in what Pericus is up to, and starts to find a way that he can really threaten Jean psychically. Start to bring in a lot more of her powers, and because it becomes this big global threat involving the Galactic Council, we have other heroes around the galaxy that are coming in as well. We've already teased Nova, and I think we've already said Captain Marvel, but I won't give away some of the other cool heroes that get to kind of come in and play with Jean, which was super exciting to kind of get the okay from Tom and others. Like, there were a couple I proposed that I was very excited when Tom gave the thumbs up, because I wanted to have them interact with Jean. So.
Yeah, it seems like, it feels to me like Phoenix versus Thanos is one of those classic Marvel matchups that's just never happened before. So now it will.
I was looking at these pages to be like, oh gosh, did we spoil any other characters? You mentioned Nova, thankfully. But
I mean, if you did, that's okay. I just didn't want to get ahead of you. So.
Right. She's trying not to get in trouble.
it's good, it's good.
Which is unusual for me, so,
one of the things, as I was looking at all these pages and the covers in particular, I was like, holy hell, Yasmin Putri is doing some incredible cover work. And we have this one here, this debut of this cover for number 8, which is
Number 8.
beautiful. So what's that?
Number 8.
Number 8. Tom, that's got to be something that is so, paramount in your mind when you're casting your books. Obviously, you're a great writer like Stephanie and beautiful art interiors, but those covers have to really knock our socks off.
Well, they've got to certainly attract attention, and in this case, it's really little to do with me. The editor of Phoenix is my associate editor, Annalise Pisa, and Annalise is the one who went out and recruited Yasmin to do these pieces. She hadn't done a lot of work for Marvel or even really in comics in the last couple of years, so we kind of brought her back to the fold, and she brings sort of this nice, beautiful, epic, song-like quality to the images. And so it's super good.
Amazing. Stephanie, do you want to get in trouble or dance around getting in trouble by talking about number 8?
So as we're kind of building out of this kind of Thanos threat, we start spiraling into I think something a lot more cosmic with like Phoenix is actually going to transform into something new, I guess we could say.
Yes.
So yeah, there's going to be, it's not on this cover, but there is a new kind of design coming up for what Phoenix becomes. Eternity asked her in one of the slides you saw a minute ago, like, we're now about Phoenix becoming, and she's like, becoming what? So now the next few issues become Phoenix becoming, which sounds very abstract, and Jean gets mad about that as well. She's like, why are you speaking in these riddles? Why is this so abstract? Be concrete. What am I becoming? And we see her kind of go into this kind of cocoon. I'm calling it a cocoon. And when she emerges, there is something that she has become that I'm really excited for you all to see. I've seen the design for it, and it's really gorgeous. It is a cosmic queen for real. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty epic. I hope I'm not speaking out about that.
I hope we get those designs to our friends at making toys, Jesse Falcon and the toy folks. I was looking at a lot of slides and he was like, oh, I need a toy of this, I need a figure of this, I need that. We're gonna look forward to that. I want to get into some of the main team books for X-Men, but as Tom mentioned, he needs that affirmation. He needs you to give thunderous applause for X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. Can you do that for me?
So we're doing okay then?
Yeah.
All right.
Tom, we got to talk about Raid on Greymalkin.
Raid on Greymalkin. After about 6 months of setting our stage and pretty much having the various X books operating in essence on their own. There are little touch points here and there, between titles and such. This will be the first actual crossover between books. We kept it small because we are aware of the strain on your wallets and your time. So it will only be 4 issues, 2 issues of X-Men, 2 issues of Uncanny X-Men, co-written by Gail Simone and Jed McKay, illustrated by Ryan Stegman and David Marquez and Javier Garron. And it basically involves the 2 groups of X-Men, our Alaskan X-Men and our more laid-back Louisiana X-Men, vectoring in on Greymalkin Prison, the former Xavier School, where bad things are happening, and not necessarily being of an accord as to what should be done about those things.
Yeah, get into there's a lot of things going on, even past just them fighting each other. But I love the way Ryan draws Beast, and I love the way Ryan draws Beast getting hit in the face. He's got such a wonderfully punchable face.
He does a very classic, old school 70s style Beast, which is kind of appropriate because this Beast is the throwback. He doesn't have all of his memories up to the present. He was rebooted only up to about his Avengers days, and so he's a little out of sorts with everything that's going on now, and out of sorts with all of the things that he did over the last X number of years that were not so wonderful.
Yeah, we're getting to see the artists and the writers, but at least in the art that we're showing here, the artists give their versions of this current feeling of X-Men, which I really enjoyed seeing. Particularly seeing Dave and his Beast here, and seeing Dave draw. Or, we have Rogue and we have Cyclops and stuff. It's just so good. It's beautiful.
It's fun to see the artists doing all the characters they don't normally do, and it's fun to see the writers playing with characters they don't normally play with. There's a sequence in probably the best sequence in X-Men 8 that Jed wrote was about characters that are normally in Gale's book. And he just, he wrote them and did very well, and it's like, oh, that was Gail's favorite scene in the issue as well. So it's nice to see that cross-pollination. All of my X-Men creators are working really nicely together, and so far I haven't fouled it up. So, that bodes well for the future.
Yeah. So this is Uncanny X-Men is part 2.
Yes.
Uncanny X-Men 7 that we're showing here,
Yes.
part 2. Cyclops in there, very punchable face, but that's tradition, that's normal. It is gorgeous.
There's a lot of images of Cyclops being punched this month. This is specifically Punch Cyclops month because he gets punched on the Avengers cover too. Everybody's punching Cyclops. We know what people want to see, and we give it to you.
You'd be a great politician. You know what the audience wants. But then we have I think we're skipping part 3.
Yeah, we're going all the way to the end. So this is a super secret advanced look at the start of Uncanny X-Men number 8.
Yeah.
Part 4 of Raven Gray Malkin, 3 pages by the terrific Javier Garrón.
I love Javier as a person, but as an artist. And when I stared at this, the spread, the double page spread here, just mwah, beautiful work. Just the design of it all, and the way he uses and utilizes the sound effects is always tremendous.
Yeah, the text there is good. It had a little problem when it first came in that he misspelled Gray Malkin. But he fixed it, and it was all fine. And English is not his native language, so it's understandable.
Also, it is not a well-known.
No, it is not.
Xavier history, sure, but I think it's okay. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Obviously, there's a lot going on within the reins of all things X, and we touch on a lot of books in this panel, and we think about we're ending the year, we're coming up toward the beginning of 2025, but the last couple of years, Marvel Comics has published a really cool book that kind of looks at what's coming up, gives some hints, gives some teases, and that's been the Timeless books. But this year, we're doing something a little bit different.
We're doing it slightly different. I've done the Timeless books the last couple of years, and now that I'm doing X, our Timeless book this year is going to be slightly more X-focused. So this year, it's called Time Slide, and it's a big, crazy time travel adventure involving, as you see there, Cable and Bishop, and also Eva Bell, Tempest, from the Brian Bendis run, because I like Brian's characters from that period. And like the previous Timeless books that we've done, this will include little scattershot glimpses and teases and visions and portents of stories that will play out across 2025 and a little bit of 2026. It's got a super cool new villain that's connected to the Children of the Vault, Vakuna, who's got a big gaping maw that I think you see there on the far right side panel as he eats Weapon X. He eats Barry Splitt's Weapon X. So that cover you did a reference to on Ultimate Wolverine, it's not a reference anymore. That's gone. It's done. But yeah, it's sort of your one-stop look at what's going to be coming up in the Marvel Universe across the next year. It's by itself just an epic adventure about 2 time-traveling guys that don't really like each other at all, having to work together and find common ground. It's written by Steve Fox. It's illustrated by Ivan Fiorelli. Cover is by Cale New, which we saw on a previous slide. And it'll be on sale. It's the last week of new comics in December, so I forget what week it is. It's probably around the 25th, somewhere in and around there, and that will springboard us into the future.
Yeah. As a deep lover of both Bishop and Cable from the 90s, I think about Executioner's Song. There's an issue Jay Lee drew, and they're just hanging out in the ship in space, and they hate each other then still, and it's carried on for 30 years, and I just love it.
They've gotten no closer in that time.
It's just gotten far, far worse. But also, Steve Fox got a thing about weird, toothy, scary mouths. He's using Emplet with the hands.
Yep.
And then there, the new baddie. We gotta talk to Steve. It's got stuff going on. But, we talked about Time Slide, but Timeless was still really cool last year, and we introduced a new character in that, the Power Man, who's got the powers of Sentry and Iron Fist and Hulk, and he's immortal and he's rad, and so we're doing something more with that character. CB, what can you tell us about Power Man Timeless?
So I think Tom should take this. That's your book, right, Tom?
Yeah. So last year's Timeless, we told the futuristic story of Luke Cage, who was the last Avenger and who'd been bequeathed the power of the Century and the Hulk and Iron Fist in order to battle Khonshu and his ultimate Moon Knight. And at the end of that story, the character was propelled backwards in time and ended up floating out by Jupiter in our mainstream Marvel universe. And so this limited series by Jackson and Collin will pick up from that point. We'll introduce this new iteration of Power Man to the MU. Will be about him finding a place for himself, his incredibly overpowered self in our world. And it'll be a big, epic, cosmic, galactic sort of a struggle in a realm that you don't usually tend to think of when you think of Luke Cage. But this is a Luke Cage that's been amped up to the nth degree.
I have no further knowledge of the book, but I know our history with super overpowered heroes in the Marvel Universe. It always works out super great for them all. So,
well, this in particular, like the point of view we're taking on this is every fight in Power Man Timeless should be like a Dragon Ball fight. It should just be bananas in terms of scale and crazy. And so that's what we're going to do.
talking my language, I love it.
Bernard Chang has drawn this one too, and
All right.
the scale that he brings to those DBZ kind of fight scenes is insane. So I can't wait for you all to see it.
Oh, very, very excited for that. All right, let's move on to some cool stuff like Infinity Comics. Everybody have a Marvel Unlimited account, I hope. All of you need to read Infinity Comics on Marvel Unlimited. But the good thing is you can sample free Infinity Comics at marvel.com/Infinity Comics. You don't even need to sign up. You can read them, you can enjoy them, but when you do sign up, you get so many more. We have a ton of titles you can see here. We're tying into the X-Men titles, you know, with From the Ashes. Yeah. There's a really cool book called House of Harkness right now. I say book, but it's a vertical scrolling comic on the service, and it's called House of Harkness. It is really fun. If you're a big fan of Agatha All Along, then I think you're going to dig this. It is completely different, but there's fun vibes to it.
And these are all like legitimate Marvel comics. They're a part of our publishing plan. They're a part of our continuity in our universe. In the X-Men From the Ashes book, we've been doing a lot of stories that are very meaningful. Alex Packnadell has been writing that series. And they're all very meaningful and connect to the things that we're doing in the print comics. So if you're reading just the print books, you know, you're getting most of the story, but there's good bits that you will not get to experience, and that's sad.
Plus, the Lockheed book is so much fun, and Jeff, everybody loves Jeff. Yes. So please, you gotta check them out, and you're gonna have more reasons because here we are to announce a new line of Infinity Comics. Boom! We're gonna astonish you with all of these. We've got Astonishing Avengers, Astonishing Spider-Man, and Astonishing X-Men. CB, what can we talk about with these?
You know, as I'm sure many of you know, Webtoons, Created in Korea, is one of the most read formats of graphic fiction these days. And you know, Marvel was one of the first Western publishers to jump into the genre almost a decade ago with our friends at Daum and Kakao. We did some Avengers Webtoons and some Guardians of the Galaxy Webtoons in Korea that did very well for us. We said, oh, we're going to take this and kind of do it ourselves. We've been publishing the Infinity Comics for about 3 years now. There's a new comic up every day, and it's just been, like I said, very good for us. But as the fans get more into this genre, some of the demographics change, some of the metrics change, and we have a lot of learnings that we've been going through and figuring out what fans want from Marvel's Infinity Comics. And a lot of it is kind of bringing everything under one umbrella. Things seem a little bit scattered now, what's connected, what's not. We have specific tracks that we've been running. Friday Funnies is the most notable one with It's Jeff and Alligator Loki and now Lobo Lucky. But here we wanted to bring the 3 tracks for X-Men, for Spider-Man, and for Avengers under the same kind of umbrella. And that's what we're going to be doing when we launch these 3 series very soon.
Yeah, so you can see here we've got Avengers launching in January, Steve Orlando and Francesco Arcadiacono. Is that close, CB?
Yeah.
Great. Scott Aukerman and Salva Espin on Spidey. We're going to talk about that more in a second. And on X-Men, Alex Packendale, Tim Seeley, and Philip Stevie, which is cool. We've got a December launch, a January launch, but an October launch. It feels like maybe we should even launch those now. We're doing this right now. Astonishing Spider-Man 1 and 2 available right now on Marvel.com. And bonus, those first two are free. So you can check them out, you can sample them, you can read them, you can enjoy them. We're going to do a deeper dive into Astonishing
You
Spider-Man.
should probably wait till after the panel is over. Because it'll be easier to see, the lights will be up.
Fair, also rude. Just rude in the panel. True. Very excited for this. Scott is super funny and has done a bunch of comics for us previously. So definitely come out to the Spider-Man panel, Spidey and his Venomous Friends panel later during New York Comic Con for more info on this. But talking about Spidey, we also want to talk about Ghost Spider, and Stephanie here to talk about some Ghost Spider stuff. Also, Stephanie, you're writing these amazing books. You've got all these cool stories going on, but you are also winning the lottery with some of the greatest covers that are going right now. Mark Brooks has been on fire lately. All of his covers on Spider-Man Ghost Spider are just chef's kiss. So.
Yeah. No, they absolutely are. And I know he wanted to do really design-oriented things for, I think it's 7, 8, and 9. They all kind of have a really connecting theme to them, which he made super clever and really cool. So, yes, and I think we're signing with Mark later, I think at the Marvel booth for a Spider-Gwen thing. So, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, but we've got this story with Black Tarantula that's going on. Tell us a little bit about the story and what Gwen's facing. And there's the I don't want to spoil the last page of one of the, it might be the most recent issue, but like, it gets very personal and it gets a little intense.
Yes. Yeah, Gwen, it's become a very personal, very grounded. There's a little bit of romance/hatred, which are not that different. So, with the new Black Tarantula and her kind of trying to figure out who's now under the hood of the Black Tarantula costume, which readers find out before Gwen does, of course. It's a crime story with a lot of her insecurities at the heart of it, especially having moved universes, not having her dad and her support system there. So she's been trying to build her own, currently involving Jessica Jones, who will be in these issues, and drawn by Vaughn Randall, who I think has such a cool sense of horror and scope of the city. So there's a little bit of horror elements in this as well as we kind of take Gwen through the crime. And I think Vaughn Randall might be here, and I feel like you guys should give him a huge round of applause.
Vaughn, stand up.
Really kinetic artwork too. It feels like it's just moving off the page and it's exciting.
Yeah, no, Gwen looks amazing. He's super fun, and it's not up there, but you can kind of see Jessica Jones come in at the bottom of that like 4-panel page on the left, and Vaughn Randall drawing the scene that she does with Gwen and Jessica here is maybe one of my favorite moments. It's like a quiet moment where they have coffee on a rooftop together, but it's funny, and the body language of it, I think Vaughn Randall just did such a cool job of, so can't wait for you to read that.
Yeah, and we got one more cover to debut for y'all, which is cover to number 9, another great one from Mark Brooks, and that's coming in January from Stephanie and Vaughn. Pretty cool stuff. All right, Ryan, do you have anything you want to talk about? Should I get a new presentation for you?
I mean, if you want to.
Fine. How about we talk about Fantastic Four? How much blood did you bathe in to help Josh get into, to describe to him what you were looking for this cover?
It's just amazing cover. I love this sense of action he has. It was just 2 men drowning in a sea of blood. It's very engaging.
I did the sketch for that cover.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. He did some initial sketches, and I said, there's not enough blood on this cover. And so I did a little doodle on a sticky, and I sent it to him, and he went, right, I'll do that. And then he executed this cover that's way, way better than mine was.
Yeah, Josh is amazing. I also, loving this cover of 27, I grew up getting a trade paperback of the Walt Simonson, Arthur Adams, New Fantastic Four run. I've read it over and over and over again, like ruined the trade when I was like 12 or whatever it was. And Arthur's versions of Mole Man and his monsters is so ingrained in my brain. And when I saw this, I was like, Josh, like fully captured it, but then did his own way. It's great. I just love it. I hope you guys love it too. But we're not just talking about 26, 27. We also want to talk about what's coming up. We've got issue number 28 here. What can you say, Ryan?
What can I say? Is a good question.
How about this? I got another version of this. Can I show that?
Sure, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is a One World Under Doom prelude. Huh.
Interesting.
Now what can you say, Ryan?
Well, in that context, I can say that this story is about there's a dome around Latveria that we've seen before, and it's magical, and Reed is like, I'd really like to get in that dome and see what Dr. Doom is up to in there, because I'm really concerned about what he might be doing in there, what's he building in there. And so Sue is like, Reed, you've had months and made no progress on this. But there is someone else who has a PhD or master's degree in physics and is also good with magic, and his name is Dane, and he's the Black Knight, and we should go talk to him. And it takes him on a quest through time, clearly back to World War I, to find a magical artifact, and may or may not put some wheels in motion for something that's happening soon.
I mean,
Maybe as soon as the next slide.
here's the next slide, Tom. It's blank. But not for long.
You just did
because-
that. You just did that to spite me.
I did. Because we've got Ryan North and RB Silva doing The Rise of Emperor Doom. This feels like it's a big, big deal. A One World Under Doom big kind of deal.
It is a story that I was outlining last year, I think for 6 months, and I've been writing it since January of this year. I'm just about to finish the last issue this month. It is a 9-issue, 10-month story running across the entire Marvel universe, pretty much.
Yeah.
I like how closely you are looking right at Tom. Every slow word you're saying to be like, oh God, this one is okay to say.
Well, I've been sitting on the secret for a year and a half. I'm not sure how much I can say.
I think you can tell them what the premise is,
All right.
so they understand.
So, One World Under Doom is Dr. Doom coming out of his dome and overnight taking over the world and saying, all right, everyone, every country is now a province of the United Latveria, and everyone will answer to Doom, and I'm gonna make some changes around here. And it is obviously a big story, it's an action-packed story. It's also a very personal story about Dr. Doom and what he wants, and him trying to show the world that he is the greatest that there ever was, and seeing how that can maybe not work out great for people not named Victor Von Doom.
So Tom, it's One World Under Doom is this big event.
Yes, One World Under Doom is sort of the blanket or the umbrella, the dark rain, so to speak, that will be impacting on not just a rise of Emperor Doom, but all sorts of other titles across the Marvel Universe. Fantastic Four, Avengers, a bunch of our X books, Spider-Man. Doom as Sorcerer Supreme and Doom as now Emperor Doom of Earth is a big problem that's going to impact on every corner of the Marvel Universe going through like the rest of the year.
Yeah. And we've got interior art here by the amazing RB Silva from Rise of Emperor Doom #1. Man, seeing Doom with the cloak and everything, that's an action figure I'm looking forward to.
And I saw the sculpts for that action figure just the other day. So you will soon be fulfilled.
We didn't say that. Shut up. But we also, as I mentioned earlier, we like to give you something when you come to a Marvel Comics panel. So we have a very cool One World Under Doom variant edition of Fantastic Four
Doom loves you all. And you should support Doom in everything he does. Really, you should.
So when I first saw this, I asked the team, I was like, hey, did we put the wrong number on here? Because we're up to issue 25, 26. And they were like, no, issue 13 is the one we're giving away because It is the debut of a very important character in all of our lives, truly. I will get to that in the next slide, but please stay to the end of this panel to get your copy. If you decide you want to stick around for the next panel, that's totally cool. Stay in your seat. We'll make sure you get a copy, but if you leave, I don't know that you're going to be able to get back in, so just judge what you want to do. We'll get you a copy. So speaking of the character find of recent memory, Dino Doom.
Dino Doom.
Dino Doom, I'm so
Dr.
happy.
Doom of the dinosaur dimension.
It's just the best. So good, and we love it so much that there is a photo op downstairs at the Marvel booth that you can have and enjoy and share.
Show your allegiance to Doom
Please.
in photographic form.
Ryan, when you were doing dinosaur comics 50 years ago or whatever it was, when you started out, did you think, one day I'm going to get a Dino Doom into the Marvel comics?
I will say that when this issue came out with that Alex Ross cover of Dinosaur Doom, I did post on social media the How It Started, How It's Going version with the Dinosaur Comics template and then Alex Ross drawing Dinosaur Doom. Feels like a full circle moment.
We did it, y'all. That's great. Very exciting. Definitely go get your photo op with Dino Doom and Emperor Doom downstairs after the panel. We're going to wrap up for this part. We will do Q&A in a second, but I also, of course, we have Marvel Insider Code. It gets you 10,000 points if you go to marvel.com/
10,000 points.
You could get
That's a lot of points.
so many things with that. But definitely sign up to it. Please don't post it online until like at least an hour. I know Reddit is like probably asking already, where that code, but like, chill. Make sure everybody here can utilize said code. Great. So without further ado, if you have questions, everybody here would love to provide some answers. Or maybe they don't, but they're gonna anyway. So please, we have microphones here. Step on up. No questions?
Come on.
We can, yeah.
Hey there. Questions for Tom. What are the first steps when you're following something like the Code Age of X-Men with a whole new status quo?
Well, first you get rid of Krakoa. I let Jordan White do that. Honestly, my first step was before I even knew I was going to be doing it, because Jordan was starting to brainstorm himself on like what the X-Men books would look like after the Krakoan era was up, the first Krakoa era. And so I had like an hour-long conversation with him, just bouncing ideas around. And I wrote up a bunch of things. Well, there should be a book that's like this, and there should be a book that's like this, and there'll be a book that's like this. And then a few weeks later, they came to me and said, we want you to do the X-Men. And I thought, I got a list. I'm halfway home. This is easy. It's a big, crazy undertaking. It's definitely a lot more complex than anything I've done before. I mean, I've done a lot of big books and a lot of big projects, crossovers and events and things, but this is a whole line of titles that all have to function on their own individually as single comics, but also be part of the whole that is the mutant experience. And again, you know, as everybody applauded for earlier, it's going okay. So, you know, thank you all for your support.
We're gonna ping pong back and forth, so please.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Here.
Hello.
Hi. We've seen over the past couple of months, several months since last year actually, we've seen a lot of Red Band comics coming out, Blood Hunt, Werewolf by Night, Blade. Are we going to be seeing any more of those?
Yeah. We should explain what the red bands are, just in case anyone here doesn't know what they are. They're sort of a little bit
We
more...
debuted them as a part of the Blood Hunt crossover last year, because it was a vampire event, and we felt like to really capture a vampire event, you kind of had to go a little bit further with the blood and the gore than we're typically comfortable with in a regular Marvel comic. So we did an advanced version that was a little more explicit, and we sealed it in a plastic bag for your protection and made it available nationwide and worldwide, and people liked it. They liked it. And so we said, we'll do more because they liked it. We're easy and cheap, and we don't mind giving you what you want. We've continued to do other Red Band books, so Werewolf by Night and a few other things that are coming up. CB, you know better than I do at this point.
Yeah, Blade Red Band
Blade.
is perfect for that medium. Hit on Wednesday to much acclaim, and that took Red Band to the extreme on the cover, I think, even when we were proving that, we're like, whoa, this is gonna...
And Wolverine Revenge.
Wolverine
Revenge
Revenge
also has a Red Band edition.
Love. But to answer your question, yes, there will be more Red Band coming in 2025, and a very big title in June next summer. And everyone's going to say, oh, that makes perfect sense. So,
Thank you very much.
D-Man, the Red Band edition.
Not really a question, just I was a huge fan of the Krakoan Age, and when it ended, I got an X-Men Krakoan Age tattoo. So I was very nervous about what was
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was really nervous about what was going to come next because I was the most excited I've been about X-Men in a long time. But I didn't have to be nervous at all because you guys are killing it.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very appreciated. Thank you. Thanks for giving us a chance.
We've got Wolverine.
Hi. So when concerning legacy and new representation of feminist characters, as a woman on this panel and in a very male-dominated industry for legacy, if you could, in your work, give like a little girl who's growing up and used to seeing all these men and give them a sense of hope, what would that piece of legacy be for you, for these kids? Like, what is when you're writing this, showing these powerful women, this beautiful art, what's, I guess, the core of that?
That's a big question.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's an amazing question. I think the biggest thing is that my name is on it, that I'm here, that even on Sunday I'll be doing the Women of Marvel panel. At least I know Erica told me. Erica right now is also, if you're not reading Erica's work, you're doing something wrong. You should be. Erica's doing some amazing work, especially at Marvel right now, and I think it's a matter of having very supportive places. I know CB, Tom, because they're in the room, I'm going to mention them, have been very open to ideas, these discussions, talking about how I feel as a creator about these characters, having those discussions internally, bringing us into the offices to have those discussions in person. I have not been in the industry a super long time, but I can at least say that in the time that I have been, that's been something that I've seen a huge change, even within 6 years. Getting those opportunities, being asked to be places like this and in this seat with people on this stage is a really cool thing. So I think continuing to show up is really the best thing that I can do, I hope.
That's amazing, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My daughter is 5. 2 years ago, she dressed as Spider-Gwen for New York Comic Con. This year, she's dressing as Storm as for Comic Con, and so just the work. It really does affect the kids.
No, I think if 6-year-old me knew what I did for a living, that would be a pretty crazy conversation. Also because 6-year-old me was not very intelligent and probably wouldn't grasp that this was a job or any part of that. But you get it, so.
First, I'll second that Erica is killing it, especially on Daredevil Electra and the other titles that she's working on. So second that right there. My question's for Chris. Good to see you, Chris. The fun aspect, about Ultimate Comics is you get these fresh contemporary twists on a lot of characters that often sometimes, like what looks like Wolverine's going to be, come out of the blue, but also harken back to the core of the character. Wolverine also, and the X-Men in general, just have this wide, depth of characters. Is there a character you're looking forward to putting your twist on top of Wolverine, or perhaps a new character you've invented that might have an impact on the book to look forward to?
Yeah, we're going to be introducing a lot of characters in throughout the book, and it's really exciting to look at what exists in 616 and transpose that into 6160 and see what we're going to do with it that makes it different and new and unique. And yes, I don't want to reveal what characters we're going to be using, but there are going to be characters we're introducing that I hope people are excited by and excited about and want to learn more about. And I don't know if that's if anything would happen from there with those characters, but it's really a joy to be able to do this. I mean, even just in recreating Wolverine for the Ultimate Universe, thinking about how you approach that. I mean, and I very much put Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X on the pedestal. I think it's one of the greatest comics ever created. So doing a Wolverine book, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. So it's a really unique opportunity, and I really want to do a good job and make sure that we introduce characters that people are going to love.
Thank you.
Hello, my question is for Mr. Cebulski. Are we ever going to go back to like the Asian verse characters, like Wave, Arrow, Agents of Atlas? I mean, it's been over 10 years, there's still no Shield, so we have a void that can be filled.
I can answer that question. The answer is yes. We're working on a really cool new series as part of the One World Under Doom initiative.
It's the whole world. He takes it all over.
Yep, and
Including those parts.
there will be a book that is going to show the reaction of the Asian countries and the heroes that represent those countries. Can't give it away too much, but there's some fun stuff that we'll be doing. Those characters are uber popular. I was in Manila recently, and Wave is still asked about there, and she's so super been such embraced by the Filipino community there and here that it's a shame not to do more with her and the rest of the heroes from different countries. And we will be mixing it up a little bit and putting up some interesting team ups together between some of the characters from the region.
Cool, thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Wave's cool. Excited to see her in the Spider-Man show. So I know we're absolutely all in on the Ultimate Universe. It's very exciting. I'm curious what the communication is with like all the writers, because sometimes when you create a world like that, everyone starts to get into like their own little bubbles, but is there still like a overarching communication like from an editorial side to keep it all in line?
Well, I mean, we have the same editor, Will Moss, who's excellent to work with, and he keeps all that in line. Whether I talk to the other writers, I do talk to Dennis Camp. Sometimes we'll just toss ideas back and forth. I'm thinking about using this character, doing this thing with them. Is it too crazy? Text him, get a text back. No. But in terms of it is very much creator driven, which is amazing to have that opportunity to work in a sandbox as big as this, and to be doing allowed to do essentially whatever you want. I mean, as long as CD says it's okay.
I think one of the things, if I can add on to that, one of the things that is interesting is also you all operate as a group creating this universe, but very much given your own, the freedom to do whatever you like and chart your own stories. No one, as we've been working on this, no one's been uber possessive on certain things, and the amount of sharing that you guys do and figuring out where the idea might fit best is always something that I really respect from what the team and the editorial process that Will Moss has put together for these books.
For sure.
I have two questions. First for Ryan, will we get to see Squirrel Girl fight Dino Doom?
I think the answer is yes, right?
You'll definitely get to see Squirrel Girl in Rise of Emperor Doom, so yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to do a Marvel vet and not put Doreen in it.
And Brain Drain.
And Brain, and fight.
We spared no expense.
And then for CV, can you kind of talk about sort of the process around the new champions? Because they came out first as just covers only. Was that like testing the waters, or was the plan always to actually introduce them as full characters? Can you talk about that?
It was created as a variant program to kind of just, came really from the mind of David Gabriel and Dan Petraglia, who are our sales and marketing team, and kind of, we're always trying to come up with new programs about kind of how we can create themed events or on the cover programs, let's say. And those are all really just created as, hey, let's do some more teenage versions of some of the classic Marvel heroes and see if anything really sticks. And almost every single one of those characters on those covers stuck. The response was amazing. It was branded New Champions just on a whim, kind of at the last minute. It wasn't created in that. We didn't have a plan to put them all together and put out a new team. But when those characters took off, we contacted all the creators, and maybe it was at one of the summits, and said, hey, there are these characters out there. If you want to use them, they're available. And Steve Fox was the first one to really jump on and do the assembly in Spider-Woman and kind of set the pace, set the tone for them out in San Francisco. And then Alana Smith was the editor of the original Champions book with Mark Waid and Umberto Ramos, and she said, well, it's the name, and I love the characters, so why don't I create a book? And that's where it got approved from there. So yeah, it did kind of just start out as an experiment and took on legs of its own, and here we are soon going to have this amazing book with these cool new characters, and maybe they will meet the old champions and the older champions as they go forward, who knows? But yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, this is for Ryan. I just wanted to say, first off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
There was no one there previously.
Yeah. My question for Ryan, are we ever gonna get the little commentary thing again? It's one of my favorite parts of this Squirrel Girl series.
The notes on the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to get it to work quite yet, but I have an idea that I haven't pitched yet to Tom. So this is the pitch. I wanted to.
They've actually been there in every issue. You just have to look hard.
I want to do an issue of Fantastic Four with the Squirrel Girl guest star, and then she would have them on those pages. That's the idea, but I haven't got a story to go with it yet. So hopefully soon.
I just want to say, Ryan, I've been loving your FF, especially that first issue with Ben and Alicia is probably like one of my favorite issues.
Thank you.
I'd say it's awesome. I don't know how much you can say about the new Doom event, but just I was wondering what the challenges are in writing a character like Doom, and because I feel like there's some writers can make him like a little too overblown. So how do you find like balance making him like obviously like super evil, but also like empathetic and relatable?
Yeah, no, Doom is an incredible character to write. He's the only character I know of that can speak about himself in the third person and make it sound awesome and not ridiculous. Like he's got this great drama to him. So when I'm writing him, a lot of it is just trying to be. It's almost, and you'd hate to hear this. It's almost like writing Reed, where you try to be the smartest guy you can, but then on top of that, you put just this theatrical presence. Everything he says, it sounds like he wrote that line for himself to say. Everything he says sounds amazing. And then in One World Under Doom, him taking over the world, obviously that has huge effects and there's all this repercussions throughout the universe. But at the core of it, Doom isn't doing it to help the world. Doom's doing it to prove that he's the only one who can do this. Like it's all self-centered, it's all arrogance. It's all a desire to prove that he is the greatest one there is. So he's a wonderful character to write. A lot of what he says, I say out loud to make sure it has that theatrical delivery.
Amazing. So we have about 3.5 minutes left. So these are the last two questions. We'll try to get to them both pretty quickly.
All right, hi. So I know a few months ago you guys had the Godzilla variant covers, and right now we have books like Aliens versus Avengers, Black Panther versus Predator. I was wondering if you guys have any more details about maybe any upcoming, variant series or crossover titles.
There will be more news on that front soon. Like you said, there's the Avengers versus Alien. We're doing that amazing Black Panther versus Predator book now.
Ultraman X Avengers.
Ultraman X Avengers. And yes, we do have plans for 2 or 3 other fun crossovers over the course of 2025 with some other properties that I think people are going to be really psyched to see. Marvel characters and secret characters I cannot name yet.
That was an excellent answer, Stevie. I was like, great. This is good. Solid.
Thank you.
Thanks for reading.
Christopher Angels from Tweet. You announced yesterday the Premier Collection last night. Any planned next books along the way?
Yes. The Marvel Premier line. Oh, sorry. Wow. The Marvel Premier line, which we announced yesterday, is a smaller format comic collections, about 6x9 in size, closer to novels or manga. They will be in color with a specific design to them, reprintable books. We have chosen the first 4 titles. X-Men will not be in the first wave, but in the future there will definitely be X-Men titles coming in the Marvel Premier format. Thanks for asking.
You snuck in here. All right, we got 1 minute. Better be a quickie.
Very quick. Writing question for the writers. Do you guys think about the music that your characters listen to, or the music taste? Is that a thing that's cognizant during the process? I'm just curious.
I know it is for some. For me, I always feel bad when other writers discuss this. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what music Dr. Doom listens to. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, for Wolverine, he just listens to the blood pulsing.
You do something?
It depends on the character. I mean, for Harley, like, we even have a running playlist throughout it, or for the book of Grimm that I write, there's music embedded in it.
Spider-Gwen listens to bands that don't exist here, so it's kind of pointless to even talk about.
Thank you, everybody. That's a wrap for the